Ten Hag is out and Ruben Amorim is in at Manchester United, but some fans are still not convinced that Ruben Amorim is the right man for Manchester United and that Ten Hag should still be in a job. I'm going to tell you why it was the exact right decision to sack Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim is the man to take Manchester United forward. Before we get into the video though, please do me one favour. If you love Manchester United, please hit that subscribe button. So what I'm going to do, I've got a list of why Ten Hag should have been sacked. I'm going to compare it and put it together with a list of why Ruben Amorim is different to Ten Hag and why he should have been hired by Manchester United. We're going to go through it point by point. And trust me, the last one on this list will definitely convince you that Ruben Amorim is the right man for Manchester United and why Manchester United should have indeed got rid of Erik Ten Hag. Do stick with me on this because I know a lot of people who do follow me on the channel know that I have a very strong opinion about Ten Hag. It is just pure delusional garbage. That's all it is from Erik Ten Hag. So I'm going to balance it out and not be brutal like some people think I am, in my opinion, with him. So, looking at this, I would say, first of all, for Ten Hag and why he needed to go, style of play, top of the list. Some people would say, well, he wins trophies, he gets results. I would say, as a match-going fan, I want to be watching continuously decent football all season. I want to watch games like that FA Cup final against Manchester City.
Kobbie Mainoo!
Maybe a few times through the year. I'm not asking for much, you know what I mean? Like, we cannot rely on one result to balance a season out and say that that's the style of play. Manchester United had our worst ever Premier League finish. And Manchester United should not be just using one game at the end of his season to judge how successful that season was. There is nothing to get excited about. There is nothing to get off your seat about within the stadium. Wherever you went, home or away, it was the same. It was turgid, horrible football. Ruben Amorim, on the other side of things, is a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2 formation. We already know before he's in the door what style of football he's going to play. He is a very aggressive, high-pressing manager. He has all of his players drilled in that formation. He knows exactly what each player is going to do, and he knows exactly where they are going to be on the pitch. He inspires his players to play. He has a clear identity. And yes, Ten Hag did have one at Ajax, and we could probably balance it out and say we don't know if Amorim is going to do that at Manchester United. But for the sake of where we're at right now, obviously we have to just say that Amorim is the best out there with the clearest option and the clearest obvious style of play and what he's going to do. And Ten Hag's was just failed. So really, point one is Amorim is much better right now, as of now, as an option for Manchester United to move forward from this horrible start to a season. Have I convinced you yet? Keep your comments coming in. Let me know about all of my points and if you agree with any of them in this show or if you think I'm completely out of it. I want to know. I want to get your opinions on this as well. That's why I'm doing the video, just to gauge where everyone is actually at now that the decision has been made. But next on the list for me is the constant excuses for Ten Hag.
And it was a very poor decision from the refereeing.
Against what Amorim is going to bring as well to United. Now, of course, Ruben Amorim has not had any, let's just say, adversity yet. He hasn't been sacked yet. He hasn't been fired by any of his clubs yet. He is just winning and winning and winning. And that is the thing. Again, going back to the first point, it's like right now, he's just the better option. It's a sensible move for Manchester United. Of course, it's the unknown going forward. But it does feel like there is a cloud being lifted with this appointment of Amorim and Ten Hag going. Because Ten Hag was the excuse master, wasn't he? Every single game, it was a refereeing decision. It's the injuries.
It was a nightmare across the season with all the injuries.
It's the kickoff time. It's the amount of fixtures. It was never, ever straightforward with him. There was never any reason to his team underperforming at all. And Manchester United were always thought of as hard done to if you listen to what Ten Hag says. And of course, we are not going to know if Amorim is anything like this because everything has gone absolutely perfect for him so far. He's absolutely smashing it. He's winning trophies. He's already won 5 before the age of 40. He's had a great start to his career in Portugal, and we have to take that into account. But again, I go back to the point. Right now, we've got a manager, or had a manager, who was completely failing, and United were just falling and falling and falling. We were just falling off the significance list within the Premier League. No one really cared about us. This is Man United, for God's sake. We were right up there. We had the biggest club in world football with the most fans on the planet. And we're 14th in our own league. Come on, no. We need to be higher. The club has made the right decision. And the excuses for me is another big point is why Ten Hag has gone. Let's hope we don't get that from Amorim. This is probably an in-between point for both of these because we don't know what's to come with Amorim on this side. But again, I'll just reiterate what I've just said. He is winning trophies. He's unbeaten this season. 12 games, 11 wins, 1 draw. He is the perfect replacement right now. The next issue for Ten Hag, I don't think any Manchester United fan would argue with, and that's the waste of money. Ten Hag has spent over 600 million on new players and cannot make it work. It has got worse after spending money on what we thought were quality players. I'm not saying every player was worth the value that we paid for him. Obviously, that's not Ten Hag's job. It's the hierarchy and the people above Ten Hag who spend the money, who actually pay the fees. Ten Hag, though, is bringing in the quality of player. And that's the issue as well that we've got here. It just looks like it was going down blind alleys. It looks like there was no plan in the transfer market. And the players that he has brought in have not improved. The players he's brought in have not been good enough for Manchester United. He, in fact, himself is now not using some of the players he spent a fortune on in this team. Antony is prime example of that. 85 million quid for Antony, and he cannot even get off the bench onto the pitch right now. That's the problem that Ten Hag has always had, and a lot of fans would agree that it was a bit of a scattergun approach to the transfers when Ten Hag was in at Manchester United. Granted, yes, he didn't have the structure that is there now with Ineos, but when you look at what Amorim has brought and what he is looking to do at Manchester United, we've already had reports come out that Manchester United won't have a lot of money to spend this summer. No issue for Amorim. He improves players that he's already got. He's used to working with youth, which we have got a quality academy coming through the ranks right now at Manchester United. Yes, Ten Hag could have used that as well, but still, Victor Gyökeres, he bought him for Sporting from Coventry in the Championship 2 years ago for £24 million. He is now market value at 70 million. Osimhen Diomande, he is now his main centre-back at Sporting, 7.5 million. He bought him from Midtjylland from Denmark. He is now valued at £40 million. He is improving players and making money. So it's not necessarily a case of having to spend a lot with Amorim and why he is a bonus and why United have brought him in and Ineos have seen him as the best fit for United right now. And of course, a player that United have got right now was brought into Sporting by Ruben Amorim for 24.5 million in Manuel Ugarte. He is already at Manchester United. He brought him for 24 million. He sold him to PSG for 55 million, already doubling the market value. And now Ugarte is at Manchester United and he's come back full circle again. He's already got a player that he knows he can make the most out of. It is just ticking box after box after box. Where Ten Hag has failed, Amorim I think is going to work in perfectly. And again, I see this with insight into the future. And obviously we can't compare completely. But I'm just making this video as a point to saying why Ten Hag has been sacked and why Amorim is seen as the perfect fit. Are you convinced yet? Come on, keep commenting below, everybody. We're nearly at that main point that's going to finalise everything. You need character, you need charisma to be Manchester United manager, and that's our next point on this list. Something that Ten Hag lacked big time, something that Ruben Amorim is full of. We only have to go into, and I'm just going to read you a little extract from an interview that Sky Sports did with Vasco Seabra, a former coach in Portugal who knows Ruben Amorim very well, and what he was saying about him. It was his character and leadership that helped him turn things around so quickly in his first 2 jobs in management. There is a charisma to Amorim that shines through in one-on-one meetings with his players and the face-to-face he presents to the world's media as well. There's more that goes on in there, talking about how he works with experienced players, how he works with younger players as well, and how he just comes across. He is this bubbly, bouncy sort of character.
The first place, the second place, the third place, and the fourth place. So it's exciting. Let's see.
That knows how to handle the media and tells the players, the media, and everyone involved with him straight. There is no skirting around the edges. There is no uncertainty with Amorim. It is just straightforward, and you know where you stand.
The talent is there, but he has to improve.
And he knows how to handle players. He is a brilliant manager, something that I don't think Ten Hag handled. And a lot of Manchester United fans would say exactly the same thing. When you looked at Ten Hag, when you looked at how he handled certain players, for instance, Player of the Month, Amad Diallo in September, then we don't see him for another 6 weeks. What's going on there? He brings Manuel Ugarte in, having chased him all summer, and has got him in the team, what, 3 times in the whole of the first quarter of the season? You just don't know who's going to start week in, week out. And the explanation that he brings is just ludicrous. When you've got a right back as that extra forward up front, instead of players that naturally play there in your team.
Ajax sometimes I played in there as well.
It is inexcusable. There is no excuse for Ten Hag in how he set his team up, the way he treated players. Ruben Amorim is the complete opposite. It is a complete 180, well, both of these managers. And I think that Ruben Amorim is exactly that right type of character to handle Manchester United, where Ten Hag clearly failed and could not handle the fans, the media, the expectations, the way he spoke. He just ruined it for himself and just wasn't the right fit. Amorim, I can't wait to see how he handles all of Manchester United's media. I promised you the one big reason right at the end of this list, and the one reason why no Manchester United fan will argue with what I'm saying right now, and the reason why Ten Hag should have been sacked, and the difference between him and Ruben Amorim is the accountability factor. Ten Hag blamed everyone but himself. He never once took blame for anything that was going wrong at Manchester United. It was never his fault. There was the excuses which we've talked about in this video already alone. Ten Hag always had a get out of jail. There was always something wrong.
A wrong decision, interfering.
It was the injuries. It was what was happening with the fixtures, the fixture pile-up. It was everything. It was never his fault. Certain players have to learn how to game manage. He used that as an excuse this season alone. What happened in that Spurs game, we are now forgetting about that because the officials sent Bruno Fernandes off. That doesn't count. That doesn't count? Wow. I'm just going to read you something that was said about Ruben Amorim in a piece that the BBC did. And this is the type of character that now is coming into Manchester United. And when it comes to accountability, we need to look at things like this, I feel, and look at this more as what Manchester United actually need. And this is what was said. Ruben Amorim's coaching career began at Casa Pia, then a third-tier club in Portugal, where it almost ended before it began. He lost his first 2 games, and with his pride hurt and doubts setting in, he announced if he lost the 3rd game, he would quit. In that next match, he changed his system and played a back 3 for the first time. The system worked, and from then on, he remained unbeaten at the club. He was willing to quit because it wasn't working. Because what he was doing wasn't working. He seen where the fault was. He couldn't make the system work for the club at the time, and he was putting it on himself. It was his fault. He took blame for things going wrong. That's something that Ten Hag never, ever did. I want you to just get into the comments right now and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. But Ten Hag compared to Ruben Amorim and the situation right now as it is and why this decision has been made, I think is clear as day. Ruben Amorim is the man to take Manchester United forward. He beats Ten Hag on every single point from where we're at right now. Decisions need to be made at big clubs. Ineos have made a decision at Manchester United, which I think is sensible and I think works best for Manchester United and where we're at now and going forward into the future. Thank you for watching the video, everybody. Can I ask you to just do one more small favour and give this video a big thumbs up? Hit that like button, everybody. Do check out this video that I did on the details of Amorim and what he is going to be on at Manchester United contractually. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everybody, before you leave if you love the content. See you in the next video, people.